Hi, this is Wyatt from Spark Place. Today, we are going to do a short class on creating word cloud animals. Now, what is a word cloud? A word cloud is essentially a design that uses text to create the shape of an object. So, for example, this heart here that you can see on our screen it appears to be a Mother's Day gift that's created with the words, "I love mom." Um, you can do word art in all sorts of different designs. Here's a UFO. Here's a school bus. Here's a lovely snowman. This website can also use pictures to generate your word clouds, which is rather nice. Um, the website specifically that we are using today is wordart.com. It's a rather simple and easy to use website that just allows you to import your text rather simply and easily. Now, to get started, we're going to need a silhouette of the animal that we want to use. So we're going to go to a new tab and we're going to search for an animal. Now, I like fishing personally, so I'm going to search for a largemouth bass. Now, we don't just want to search for that. We want to specifically search for a largemouth bass silhouette. And we'll search for that here. Go to the Images tab and find a silhouette that you like. Let's see here. Oh, I like this one right here. So we're going to save this image. And I'm going to save it to my desktop so I can find it later and name it something you can remember rather easily. So once you have it saved, we can hop back to word art and we're going to hit create now. This is going to open up our design window. First things first, we're going to clear out all the suggested words they have here. Next, we're going to load our shape. So if we click on the Shapes tab and click Add Image, we can find it on our computer. So I have mine saved to the desktop. And that brings us to the image customization window. We can adjust the threshold and the edges. Basically, you want to get as crisp a picture as possible. And you're just going to slide these back and forth until everything is nice and clean. Don't worry if it's not perfect. You'll be able to adjust it a little bit more later. All right, that looks good for me, so I'll hit OK. And you can see we've got this little gear here, which will allow us to edit that if we decide that it doesn't look okay. So I'll hit cancel, but we've got it selected right now. Now we can start adding our words. This is rather simple to do. You can just click the add button here and just start typing. So I'm going to start with the word bass, and then I just hit enter. And then I'll add another word. Let's just go with fish. And then I can add, since I was talking about fishing, I'll add lure. And you'll just continue to add words as you go along. Now, if you already have a list of words, say you have them typed up into a document file of some sort, you can just hit this import button. And then you can just copy and paste your files into here. So I already have a whole bunch of words that I associate with bass. So I'm going to hit import words, and it's going to automatically add my list. Unfortunately, it does clear out all the words that you already had in here. So if you already have a list of words, add those first and then add anything else extra afterwards. So yes, fish, lure. Now, notice that all the words I imported had the first letter capitalized, but all the ones I just typed didn't. I can adjust that by clicking this upper button here, which will make everything uppercase. Lower will make everything lowercase, and capitalize will capitalize the first words, the first letters of each word. You can adjust the size that you want the words to be here. We'll get to take a look at that in just a second after we hit this visualize button. You have to hit this after every step so that you can see how your design looks. So if I hit it now, it'll take a second, and then we'll have a lovely silhouette of our animal. So you can see that our animal is made up of all sorts of different words, but let's say I don't like how large hunter is there. So I could make it size 5 instead. And then if you hit visualize, you can see what that does to our work. So it changed the size of the hunter just ever so slightly. Now we can edit these if we want. You can select them and delete them out or change the arrangement, but personally I like the way it does it as a default. So we'll move on to our next step, which is choosing our font. There are dozens of fonts and you can add your own personal font in here. I'm going to find one that I like. Personally, I've always been a big fan of the handwritten fonts. So I'll select that and then I'll hit visualize. So now we have the handwritten style as opposed to the more blocky text that it defaulted to. Next, we can change our layout. If you have an animal with a specific pattern on it, keep that in mind. So if you're doing zebras, you might want to do a vertical pattern. Or if you're doing a cat and it has stripes, think about the direction the stripes go. I know that bass have horizontal lines, so I'm going to select horizontal. And you can change the amount of words you have on your animal as well. You can adjust that by changing the slider down here. If I want more words, I can slide it up or down. I have to select define first, but I can slide it up. I can have up to 999. But that might look a little bit cluttered if I had to guess. Yeah, it's all sort of crammed in there. So I can lower it down to something like 500 and see what that looks like. I think that looks a little better, so I'm going to keep it at 500, but you can of course adjust this as much as you want. Finally, there's the style window. You can select the colors of your words. If you don't want it to just be black and white, you can select custom. It will automatically add a couple of colors, but if you just click on them, you can start choosing specific colors as you would like. You can import decimal number or hex numbers if you would like. And if you don't like a color, you can just select down here and that will delete it. So I'm going to go to the green section and I'm going to start adding some greens. I like that one there. So we'll hit add to palette. And then I want a little darker green, maybe a little lighter green too. I think those three will be okay for right now. So we'll hit close. And it has automatically changed our words to those colors. If you would like, you can increase or decrease the color emphasis. Basically, whichever order you put the colors in, it will emphasize some colors over others. If I slide it up, it will emphasize one or two colors very specifically. If I slide it down, it makes all of them just their base colors. I can edit the background color. Since I have a fish, I want it to be a light blue color to represent the water. So I can just select that here and hit apply. So now I've got a light blue background. I think that's a little too dark, so I'll pull this over here a bit. Just like so. You can also, if you have a look here, you can see that the silhouette of the fish is still here. If you just want to have the words there and no silhouette whatsoever, you can just pull the background image down to 0. And now we just have text of our fish. Alternatively, you can slide it all the way up, which will provide a nice black background for your animal. It all really depends on what you're looking for. I personally don't want a background on mine. And there we have it. We've made a word cloud of our animal. You can just hit print here if you want to save it. And most computers these days have an option to save as a PDF in the print window. So if you just hit save, it will save that out. You can save that wherever you would like. And you can do all sorts of fun things with these. I've seen people frame them and put them in picture frames. I've watched a person make postcards of objects that are important to different people, and they send the postcard off. Alternatively, if you make a black and white version of this, so if I just delete all my old colors and select black, and then remove the background, you can then bring this into SparkPlace and use our laser cutter and engraver to etch this into something like a piece of wood or acrylic, giving you a rather neat multimedia design. Other than that, it's really up to you. What do you want to do with your word cloud animal? That just about does it for this class. I've been Wyatt, and thank you for watching.